Hi and welcome back. So in this tutorial we are going to create the window which we'll slot in here. I'm going to go to front viewport, and before I continue I'm actually going to go here and I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to run this application so that you can see all the shortcuts that I press down here. Great, so I'm going to go to the front viewport and I'm going to go to box mode, making sure that I'm snapping to grid and not vertices, because that's my grid. And I want it to be 128 by 16, which is the depth of our window. And on top viewport, I want to place that in where it needs to be. I don't want any subdivisions, so modify a panel and remove all the subdivisions. I need the pivot point to be at this corner over here, so I'm going to go to the hierarchy, pivots only, make sure I'm snapping to verts and not grid, and move that over there from the top viewport, and from the left viewport I want it to be down here. And then turn that off, go back, and now I want to make sure that I'm snapping to grid and not vertices, and I am going to bring that where it needs to be. So now that box fits perfectly in this space, and I'm going to go ahead and start creating the frame of the window. So what I want to do is convert this to editable poly, select one side. I'm going to inset it first, but I'm going to give it that much inset. Actually, I should be selecting both sides. I'm going to turn my snap off for now. Inset, I'm going to give it that much inset, and then what I'm going to do is delete these two polygons, and I'm going to actually isolate it, right click isolate, and I'm going to click the two borders and say bridge, and to close that off. I am also going to select these sides and extrude them out a tiny bit, maybe that much. And I may also want to go ahead and select these edges, so just double clicking on these loops here, and I may want to chamfer those just to give it a little bit of detail. You may not want to do this because, I mean, it's not necessary, but nice to have. Okay, now in order to create these this design, we could just have them as a texture, but I want to physically have that detail there, even though I genuinely do not need to have that. What I'm going to do is go to my create panel, get a plane, make sure I'm snapping to grid point, and create a grid there. I've already done this before. What I'm doing here is I've counted how many lines I'm going to need there. That's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need 9 lines, and then vertically and horizontally I need 9 lines, and then I need to put 10 here because 10 would give me 10 sections, which means 9 lines. Once the subdivision is correct, I'm going to go to the modifier panel and put a lattice modifier on top. That's how that looks. That is not how I want it to look like, so I'm going to say struts only from edges, and it's too thick, so I'm going to do that. But actually, before I do this, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to convert this to editable poly, and let me just exit isolation and go back to isolation so I only see this plane. I want to select one vert, miss the other, select one, miss one, select one, miss one, and just like that. And I want to chamfer those vertices in order to get this effect here. And I'm going to go to lattice and do the same. Too much thickness, that will do. Sides, just 3 will do, so that we have as few polygons as possible. Okay, and it's giving me all of this unnecessary detail in there. but it was a quick way to make this, so I'm fine with it. And that's it. I'm gonna say, is there anything else I want to change here? I don't want any extra segments. Yeah, that'll do. And I want to take this into the thing, but I really don't need to have all this detail here. All those. What happens if I delete that? Not good. Remove? Not good. Okay, just leave them as they are. Okay. Now I'm gonna go to editable poly, and I'm gonna exit isolation, and I'm gonna make sure that is here. I would actually want that to be a little bit further back, you know, in the middle, so to speak, but maybe actually let me just at the edge, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that looks fine to me. Next stage is to create these middle pillars. I think I'm gonna have to do that on this model here, so I'm gonna convert that to the poly in, isolate it. I have no idea why my computer is so slow. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I could either create these pillars from this box, or I could create them as separate objects. I might just create them out of the same. It will give me extra few polygons, but I guess it's fine. So selecting all the polygons, holding Control and click on Edge Mode, selects those edges for me. I don't want the middle ones, and actually I think what I want is to just do two sides opposite each other. So just two edges here, two edges there for now. I'm gonna go to connect, and I'm gonna need 2 for the middle here. So I'm gonna say give me 2, and yep, 2, and I want them to have 75 maybe distance. Okay, and then even amongst these I would want 2 connections as well, but here I wouldn't want 75, I would just want 0 is fine. Press OK. Now I could click on this and click on this and say bridge, and that would bridge that for me. Now what I may want to do is select these 2 and these 2 and these 2 and do something, do something similar there. Click on connect. So I'm connecting. Oh, actually I forgot to also select these ones as well. Okay. So just to show you, these are the edges that I have selected. 2 up there, 4 here, and 2 down here. I'm going to click on connect, and I am going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 edges. And I want all of these edges to be 8, sorry. And so look. How can I get this correct? Let's isolate this back. Let's select this as well, and isolate them both together. Maybe if I go to the front, so I want 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So if I go back, I see. Okay, let's go ahead and create the subdivisions. Hit connect. I want them to be there, that's fine. I think I'm gonna have to do this with naked eye, really, just to get it to work just fine. What I could even do, I could get my snap tool, make sure I'm snapping to vert mode and not grid. Get all these vertices, snap them here, get all of these, snap them here. And then get all of those, snap them on this side, and get all of those and snap them on the other side. And just, oh sorry, these two don't, I need to miss one. My bad, so that needs to be over there, that needs to be over here. And miss one, these two have to, they have to go there, they have to come here. And I should have done the same thing with the bottom ones. Okay, I'll go back to those. I made such a big mistake. I mean, it could kind of work in my advantage as well. It's fine. What I'm going to do is exit isolation and go back to isolation just with that box. I'm going to go to vert mode. I'm going to select these ones and snap them to here. I'm going to select this one and snap them to here. So they kind of, I'm snapping the first one to the first the vertices on the right hand side, selecting these and snapping them to the left hand side. Now I do apologize if the tutorial is moving a bit too quick, but that's because I expect you guys, if you're watching this tutorial, to have basic knowledge of 3ds Max, how to navigate through 3ds Max, how to use editor poly, how to use the shortcuts, etc. So if you are not familiar with that, please go ahead and watch my basic tutorials. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to select these two and right click on the scale tool, and that's not what I want to do. I want to scale these by, say, 500. Okay, can I manually enter numbers here? No. Okay, let's turn percentage on and let's say 50%. So that's okay. What I'm looking at here, I'm looking at this number down here while I scale it, and I'm snapping to 50%, and I want to go to 500. So that's 500. And I'm going to do the same for this row, 500. Same for this row, 500. Please don't take me as your best example, because the models I'm making here, they have too much geometry. But I'm doing this so that it can also be a modeling tutorial for you guys as well. That's my excuse. So these 8 edges, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 edges there. We want 2 connections between them. We want 2. And if I look at this from the top side, it should line up with everything. Yeah, it does. Great. Okay, so now I'm going to select the facing edges and bridge. I should actually be able to do them all at the same time if 3ds Max doesn't want to be stupid. Let's have a look. Yep, works fine. Okay, finally. Right, so now I should be able to select all of this and say chamfer just for extra detail. Don't ask me why I'm doing this. Okay. Great. I was going to put a smoothing group on these, but I kind of like the edgy effect that they have. So I'm gonna leave them as it is, I guess. So now if I exit isolation, I could probably just get that and put it in the middle. Make sure I'm not snapping to vertices, so just go to middle point roughly there. And that could be our window block. But of course these are all separate assets, so I'm going to have to go in there and attach the plane to it as well, so they're all one object. And if I isolate it, they're just one object. Very good. Okay. Of course, you know, you can see the plane here, but that is not a big deal considering that these windows will always be inside walls, so we don't have to worry about that showing. Okay, so what we need to do now, we need to unwrap this and texture it. Let's go to CG textures, and let's search for stone. And I think something like this would probably go well in terms of having the texture for these areas. Where's CG textures gone? Or something like this even, but we want something similar to the other one. I'll tell you, I'll pause the video, and once I find some, I'll come back and we can continue. Okay, welcome back. I'm not sure why I paused that, because I found one very quickly actually. I found this one. I'm gonna go and download it. Rock smooth works fine for me. But of course it's a JPEG, so I need to go to Photoshop, and I want to bring it here actually. In order to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and I could close this, I guess, and I could probably close that as well. Don't need this, just close them to save some memory on my computer. Okay, Control O to open up the textures, JPEGs, skull smooth, rock smooth, there we go. Open this up, copy it, bring it here. Control T, and okay, before I bring that in order to make this easier for myself, I could go here, go to image size, and make sure this is 512 by 512. Press OK. That kind of shrinks down. Copy, paste it here. So 512, 512 kind of sits better here. So that's what that's going to have. And because it's not going to really be tiled, I don't really need to worry about doing the padding and doing what we did for these ones. So I'm going to leave that one as it is, and I'm going to go to File, Save, and then I'm going to go to File, Save As, and I'm going to save it as a TGA, because that's what we are using inside 3ds Max, because that's what we are going to take inside UDK. So if I go to 3ds Max, I could apply the same texture to this and then go all messy. I can go to Unwrap Clear, UVW Mapping Clear, that is, sorry, convert to dual poly, and then put Unwrap UVW Map. And what I want is just for the frames to be that color. I'll probably just put like a black texture for the rest. So all I want is that. I could probably just select one of these polygons and just hit grow, and I'll select everything, because these, even though they're inside one object, they're different elements, so I could just do that. And I should actually do them separately, I think. Let's open up UV editor. Let's move this up here, and let's move everything else down here. Let's select these, put them here, or just say pack them in there. Let's try unfold. That is amazing, really good. No, I'm joking, that's horrible. What I might do actually, the front bit, the front polygons, I'll just keep them. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna deselect the polygons which face in the z-axis. I'm gonna deselect those and deselect these ones in the middle. I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I go to, oops, sorry, I didn't, okay, press F2, you see this is messed up because I had ignore backfacing on. I need to turn that off and try again. So remove all of that, remove all of this, and remove all of this. This seems to be still something in there that shouldn't be. Okay, let's have a look. We are selecting all these faces only, and that's exactly what I want. Okay, so let's just do a planar mapping on these, on the X, Y, Z, Y axis. Turn that off. Move this to the side and select these ones and just bring them down somewhere. Okay. I'm gonna select this and get them to, oops, just get them to come here. And what I want to do is put that material in here, and I could again make sure I'm snapping to 50%, and I could scale this that way, and then one more time, and then I want to move it, I should probably shift and drag it over here. So let's see how this looks. It looks like that, which is a little bit pixelated if you ask me. Actually, I might go ahead and get the scale tool. I don't need to be snapping to anything when I scale this time. I may go ahead and hold Shift and Control, scale this down a tiny bit, smooth that here. Let's see, look, it does look a little bit distorted at top, I think. I guess we could get away with it, considering that it's not a big or important part of the texture. I think we could probably get away with that, so that's fine. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to press F2 so I can see the red bit, and then from the left viewport I want to select the polygons which face this way, so sideways really, and I don't need the ones which face upwards, so I'm going to get rid of these. So what I have is just these polygons, and then in the front viewport again I definitely don't need these polygons. Oops, I don't want to do that. It's very important to make sure that the way you select them, you don't select them in a way that you would select or deselect other polygons that you may need. So in this case, oh, I see what I've done. I've also selected the this design in here as well, which I don't need. So I need to select a polygon and grow that to make sure that I'm only selecting those. So because I want to have the side ones selected, I do not want to be selecting these middle ones because I don't have anything that would interest me. Also these ones here. So I have these selected, which is good. Again, in the front, I do not need, oops, again, just making sure that I don't deselect something that I want to be selected yet. So I want to zoom in, make sure I don't select these polygons here, and also not these polygons here. Let's see what we have. I think that's pretty good, except I may also not want to have these ones selected. So I'm going to go to my front view and make sure that I don't have these, or these. Actually, I may want to do that, so I deselect all of these. Hopefully I'm not doing anything wrong. So now you only have the side ones selected. Now these ones don't really matter because they probably will be blocked within the wall anyway, but these interior ones do matter. So I want to do planar mapping on X. If I open UVA so we can see that kind of functions well. Turn that off, make sure we're snapping so that we can snap that there and snap it, let go one more time. Shift and drag that over here. We need to turn that off and scale this so there's only a little bit, and then Control Shift to scale them down a little bit. Okay, so they look like that. Okay, now the only thing that we need now is to select one of these and then grow that, and now we want the ones that face upwards. That will mean everything except these ones. So if I deselect these ones, the ones that I have selected here are the ones that I need, so I don't need to go and select those ones individually. I'm gonna do these ones on planar, and I think it's the Z-axis. Again, make sure snapping to 50%. Take that there, take that there, and shift and drag this across. And don't need to be snapping anymore, and shift and scale it down to around that much, and maybe Control and Shift to scale them a little bit. Put that there, and that is fine as well. So convert that to ideal poly for now. We're not done with it yet. Just to see how it looks so far. Not bad. I'm not sure if I'm happy with how blurry these are, and I think they're a bit too big as well. Let's try something here. Let's go and select this texture. Because it's a tileable texture, let's scale this down by 50%, so it would only fit in one of these squares. Say apply. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to alt and drag it over here so it fits here, and so alt and drag both and put them here. Before I save this, let's get a render of this, and I am going to duplicate it so we can see this later on. I'm going to close that. Now I'm going to go press Ctrl S to save it, and go to File, Save As, Save it as a TGA because the TGA is the file that we have in 3ds Max. Okay, now if I wait and let that do its thing, and if I render it now, hopefully I should see less blurriness because it will have less. So these are the two differences that we have here. Let's isolate this and see how this looks inside this environment. It actually looks pretty good. It looks fairly good. The only thing left now is to texture that. If I go back to this image here and just look at the reference again, they're grayish white. Well, they're not white, they're of course very much exposed to light as well. So I could just make a black texture here. What I might do actually is, first of all, I'm gonna, these 4 squares that we made here, I'm gonna collapse them down by Control E, and I'm gonna create a new layer, and at the bottom corner here I'm just gonna select one of these boxes, and I am going to go and paint this with a gradient of I'm just going to choose black and white, but I'm going to change this from white to dark to white, bright gray-ish, and I'm going to change that to dark gray. And I'm going to bring it to the center, and I just get a duplicate of this and put it on the other side. Oh, no. Press OK and just draw. Nope. Select that and just. I might actually select this and no, solid. Might make the color a little bit darker actually. Try again. Yeah, that's better. Okay, I'm going to save this and go File, Save as TGA, so we can see the effects in 3ds Max. Go back to 3ds Max, select this model, put a unwrap on it, open up UV editor, and bring that texture in, and select all of that and shrink him. Oops. Shrink him so that he can fit. Actually, sorry, do you want to continue? Yes. Then shrink over here. Okay, so we have that kind of effect in there. What else? I think that is it for this case. What I'm also going to do now is end the video here, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.